Gentlemen, welcome back to the shop. Today we were busy with a new truck again. The other day I was underneath the truck trying to figure out where the cables are going to go for the 12 volt auxiliary power, and I noticed something that was a bit disconcerting. So let's get under there and I'll show you what it's all about. Okay, so the other day I was underneath the truck trying to figure out where I'm going to take the cables for the 12 volt auxiliary to the back to through, and it'll go through somewhere through the frame of the truck. And then I had a look at the Towbar. So from here you can see everything's nice. Let me zoom you in here a bit. We'll get you at a better angle. So if you look there, there's probably a 1/4 inch gap in there. That plate needs to be hard up and flush against the truck frame, because this Towbar actually has a recovery point on it. So I don't know what happened here. If we look on the inside, there the bolt is totally loose. We've still got that 1/4 inch gap on the plate. That's how the bolt is. And then when we go to the other side, we've got a bolt completely missing, and also with about a quarter of an inch gap. So either they made a complete ash of it when fitting the Towbar, or the Towbar was manufactured skew and the apprentice couldn't get the bolts tight enough, or he was maybe maybe had an hangover, or whatever the case may be. I'm not going to say that this is, well, it is Mahindra's fault. They should have done a proper pre-delivery check on it. But it's not only Mahindra, let me call it that. Previous to this truck, I drove a little Bantam, and you won't believe it, 10 years ago when I bought the bucket, I had exactly the same issue. Although the bolt configuration was different, I had exactly the same issue. So this could have ended badly. The main bolts are all tight, it seems, so I don't think it would have been a major hiccup, but over time this could become an issue. Especially if you're pulling heavy trailers, etc, etc. So what I did was I got some high tensile bolts, and we'll be putting them back together again. Okay, so I think first of all, let's see if we can pull that 1/4 inch out of there. Which I doubt. I think that's probably half of the issue. I think is that the Towbar, which is a bosal Towbar, just to show that it is a bosal Towbar, I don't think it fits right, but let's see. This bolt is completely loose. And as you can see, I'm tightening it with one hand, and that hand being my left hand. Only there it's picking up some resistance now. But I'm still a ways off of pulling it to the truck frame. Does feel like it's closing up though, but I think I'm going to overstretch this bolt. I'll be back. We need to jack this thing up and see what we can. I think what I'm gonna need to do is I will need to loosen those two bolts so that we can get that one to try and fit that in. I'll be back. Okay, let's see if we jack it up a bit. If we can get that bolt to a line. Well, bolt hole to a line. Don't think it needs much though. That's gonna go nowhere. I'm just picking up the whole truck. Okay. Round number 2, fight. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, next step, loosen those two bolts. They weren't very tight either. So I think what I'll do is I'll take a torque wrench to this whole tow bar once we're done here. Ow. There we go. Let's see if we can jack it up now a bit. Okay, and now on the other end. Why does a 10-minute job always become a 2-hour job? Okay, let's try it. Still not going in. You want to tell me that I'm really going to have to loosen the whole of the tow bar? Well, if that's what needs to be done, that's what needs to be done.
5 hours later.
And let's try again. There we go. The young guys nowadays do not want to do the trade jobs. You've only got it. What's it? Let's count. 1, 2, 3. Ratchet bolt. Well, you've got 3 clicks in the ratchet on it, so it's going to take you a while to do this, unless you've got the air tools or whatever the case may be. So, and the guys don't want to do it because they're lazy. Well, or they so into the instant gratification that they don't want to fight with something. You've got maybe an 1/8 of a turn there, so almost, I'd say maybe a 1/6 of a turn. But we're getting there. We're getting there. So for the young fellows around, this is typically what happens in the job outside in the field. This tow bar was put in a jig and welded together. So I've got no beef with bosal that they have the right jig. But the moment you weld it on it and you pull it out of the jig, it pulls in any which direction. So if you come across something like this, get all the bolts in but not tight, like hand loose. Honestly, hand loose. Just get everything in. And then systemically you start on the one end, work your way around the whole thing. It can even take a couple of times before that last round that you put the torque wrench on. So just make sure the moment you've got all the bolts in, you know they won't pull out. You know you won't misalign a hole. You know it's got to go into place. So get all the bolts in, but loose. And having them all loose will make you fit that odd bolt like I have here. That I'm 100% convinced that that bolt was never put in. They started putting in the tow bar from one end, and when they got to that point there, that was the last bolt, because that's the shittest bolt to get to. So it would definitely be the last one to go in, and then it didn't align, and they just decided to leave it out. Guys, make sure you work on when you're wrenching on stuff. Make sure that you do it properly. There's so little people. Well, Getting guys doing a proper job nowadays is actually much harder than it used to be. So if you're working on stuff, make sure that you are doing a proper job on it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through all of it. I have loosened every last bolt on this Towbar. I'm going to go and pull them up tight and then put the torque wrench on, and then we'll take it from there. At least now I know it's my responsibility. I know now that it's going to be right. Guys, the buck stops with you. Like I say, it's not just Mahindra. It's not, well, it might be bosal. I can't remember the Towbar on the previous truck. But it stops with you. You've got to look after yourself and look after this stuff, because in this day and age, no one else is going to. Okay, so now that we've got all the bolts in, we can start to torque them down. M8 10.9 high tensile bolt. Torque spec is 40 Newton meters. And then the 10mm bolts, they get torqued to 75 Newton meters. Over there you can actually see how much it pulls out of the jig after welding. So that's why it happens. So and there we go, gentlemen, and that's that. Our Towbar is fitted. Now we can pull a horse box or a cattle trailer or whatever the case may be again. If you've made it thus far, thanks for watching. As always, make sure that you take responsibility for your job and what you do and how you go about it. And with that, I'm going to call it and say thank you very much, and please rate, comment, subscribe, and as always, stay safe.